All right. Mic check. All right. Is this thing on? Yes, looks like on. So welcome, fellow AI enthusiasts. Welcome to this virtual session where we'll dissect, discuss, and hopefully demystify the wild world of AI adoption, right? And today we are, shaking things up. Most of you present here might wonder what Open Innovator is. You can think of us as the anti-boring brigade injecting some fun into the world of AI. Now picture this, what is AI? AI is the most buzzword, I believe, of last 3-4 years, right? So, let's define it in some, in a cool term. AI could be or is a shiny new gadget that everyone's raving about. Yes, promising to predict your coffee cravings, cure world hunger, and maybe even fold your laundry, right? Fingers crossed. But now let's be real. Now the whole session is planned around adopting AI. So now let's be real, adopting this tech is not as easy as it sounds. Adopting AI tech can feel like, trying to assemble IKEA furniture without label instructions, confusing, frustrating, and potentially ending in tears. And at times you also miss some of the nuts, right? So that's where Open Innovator come in. This session is your one-stop shop for navigating the AI jungle. Think of us as your AI adoption buddy, helping you every step of the way. We'll show you how to put AI to work, team up effectively, and explore all the amazing things it can do. We extend an open invitation to all of you to join our thriving community. You'll get the contact details in the chat bot. And as we say, well, today is a wonderful day full of innovation. We have our rockstar panel on the screen already. They all will be sharing their war stories, minus the actual war, hopefully. And they will unveil the secrets of successful AI adoption. They all have been there, they have done that. You will learn how to collaborate like champions, avoid common pitfalls, and maybe even discover that robots won't steal your job yet. Well, unless you are a paperclip manufacturer, then you might be in trouble. All right. And post our panel discussion, then we have a startup showcase lined up. We have handpicked 4 AI marvels that are pushing the boundaries of what's possible. So put your thinking caps on, grab your favorite caffeinated beverage. Well, thankfully, I can't predict those yet. That's up to you. And get ready for an evening full of insights, inspiration, and hopefully a few chuckles along the way. Remember, AI adoption isn't a solo mission, it's a collaborative adventure. Let's share stories, swap ties, and maybe even become best buddies with a friendly neighborhood robot. They are coming, whether we like it or not. All right, buckle everyone. Let's get this AI party started. All right. So with this, I welcome everyone. I welcome all our speakers. We have with us Dr. Amit Tewari joining us from Düsseldorf, Germany. He heads the Applied Biosciences and Green Disrupted Approaches at Henkel. Anisha, can we have the slide, please? We have Deepika Sandeep, Director of AI, Honeywell. Deepika, welcome to Open Innovator. We have Arun Sheshanarayana. He's the General Manager of Innovation Lab, Bangalore International Airport. We have Piyush Singh joining us from Gurgaon. He leads the innovation vertical at CNHI. Thank you, Piyush, for joining in. All right. So, and yes, last but not the least, we have our moderator joining us from Bangalore, from CoE, NASScom Center of Excellence. We have Rajnee. Rajnee, can we please have you on screen? Perfect. Looks like a very extremely well-placed panel. All right, over to you, Rajnee.
Thank you, Naman, and thanks for infusing so much energy that you always do, and the wonderful introduction to our panelists. Since we are all here, we'll quickly start. And we're going to dwell on some aspects of collaborative AI adoption, as Naman mentioned. And to start off, let's take some views from our panel on what are some of the strategic collaboration or alliances, if you could mention some of the examples which really helps, the AI adoption. And when I say collaborative, it could be collaboration between human and AI, could be business and technology teams, or could be, various stakeholders, could be customers and various others, depending on the industries. So an open question, and anybody from panel can take it and give us some insights on the strategic collaboration, which you really think is harnessing the collective intelligence of, some of the AI solutions. Deepika, you want to go first?
Yeah, thanks, Rajni. So, yeah, so when it comes to collaboration, so AI is a very vast field, and there are so many subfields. Take predictive analytics as an example, video analytics, now generative AI, and the good old time series forecasting, and so on, right? So it's hard for an organization, no matter how large, to be a market leader in every subfield of AI. Right? For instance, most of Honeywell's focus is on, say, I would say IoT data, because that is the largest portion of our business. So we have an IoT cloud platform called Forge for our end-to-end data lifecycle management. But as part of our portfolio, we also have cameras, drones that collect video and image data. One such example in our current context is Honeywell's Bangalore Safe City project. Right. So now for a few AI solutions and applications, we do collaborate with our partners, the startup ecosystem, to provide those complete integrated solutions to our customers. So these kind of complement each other, right? So typically startups focus on a specific subfield, and this is where enterprises can leverage their strengths for certain pointed solutions and for accelerating the development, of course. So, of course, integration of off-the-shelf solutions is not easy, like everybody here would agree. But that is where a robust platform plays a significant role. So the right balance, I would say, of platform and solution approach is required for an effective collaboration and ensuring it's successful.
Absolutely. Right. I would go to Arunji for, because he, I guess, deals with the largest stakeholders when it comes to airport ecosystem, right? So would you have some stories to share as to how do you bring such a diverse stakeholder ecosystem together to really implement some of the AI solutions?
Yeah, thanks. I totally agree with Deepika. One is, as you rightly mentioned, airport is an industry where we call it as business of businesses, right? So we are a big infrastructure organization. We are a big hospitality industry, right? We have food and beverage. We have retail. So we have different, portfolios that we handle. So in this context, what happens? Um, we are not experts in AI. We are not a tech company per se. Largely, we are travel and infrastructure and hospitality industry, right? So when we have to deliver such results, right, skill set becomes a very important aspect. So let's face it, face the reality. So many times the such an initiative requires a huge skill set, a varied skill set in different areas. So for us, we as an subject matter expert, domain expert, we have a lot of knowledge, right? This is where the collaboration becomes important for us. It could be a startup, it could be a mid-sized company, it could be the biggies, CSPs, or large companies. We would be happy to collaborate with them and work with them. So from that context, the degree of adoption at an airport has got multiple facets. It could be as a minimum of when it comes to customer facing or passenger facing. It could be as simple as say your gesture analysis, sentiment analysis, etc., etc. To it could span to security. Say for example, a baggage which is left, which is not left alone, or missing baggage tracking, to operational efficiency. There are multiple use cases or areas where we can work. Hence, for us, For that reason, for us, collaboration becomes very important. It is not that we have one solution provider for all the use cases. So we keep looking for different service providers, different kind of agencies, depending on the use case that we would like to try on, and then go with them. So this is basically what we do. So at the end of the day, we have 3 to 4 guiding principles which guides us in whatever we do. The first one being the passenger experience. What we are doing, will it add to our passenger experience? Does it make our passenger experience much better? And of course, the operational efficiency. Again, we have so many stakeholders working behind the scene. When we travel as a traveler, we may not notice, but there are a number of agencies which is working behind the scene, right? So collaborating with all of them, hence, increasing efficiency, affects a lot of people. So then, of course, revenue and sustainability are the two other goals which we see. So we keep that as a guiding principle, and then collaborate with those kind of partners who would add value to us for that given instance.
Right, right. And I'll come to Dr. Amit, and please share some of the cross-industry collaborations from a perspective of Hanikel, which really brings out the groundbreaking advancement and novel applications, because then you have two different perspectives coming in from the industries.
Yeah, thanks, Rajni. So from my perspective, I come from a R&D side. Yeah, so very upstream R&D, wherein we talk about what is going to happen after 5 years or 10 years or 20 years. So we are talking about how we can have an impact on our future generation. Yeah, so in this, we have our basically research programs in which the complications are quite much. Yeah, so we follow these research programs, we do the experimentation, but finally it takes a lot of time. Now with this AI collaboration, which we call, the speed to market has improved a lot. Yeah. So I'll give you some very interesting examples. So I come from the Henkel Consumer Brands, right? So Henkel Consumer Brands is all about beauty, laundry, and home care. Yeah. So in all these R&D platforms, our scientists are daily experimenting with the ideas. Yeah. So in these experimentation, we are looking for some automated kind of systems which could help us to achieve our goals faster, to meet our sustainability goals of 2030, for example, and 2040, 45, which is about net zero, low carbon emissions, and other stuff. So in this, if any collaboration with AI becomes very important for us, and not only the sustainability part, but on the innovation part, yeah, it is very important. For example, if beauty, for example, hair dye, yeah. So we are one of the great producers of hair dyes within Europe. Yeah, but if you look to the generation of these hair dyes, it starts from an idea. Yeah, so as we say, when we know the why, the what becomes quite easy. Yeah, so but for hair dye, we have different variables in terms of consumers. Yeah, your hair might be different from the hair which I see in China or in Europe. Yeah, so how can we customize our hair dyes that it fits to the maximum population? Yeah, and it dyes in a more sustainable manner, and there the AI adoption becomes very important. Yeah.
Absolutely. That's the importance of bringing all the stakeholders together.
Exactly.
Piyush, coming to you, we heard from R&D perspective from how AI teams work across and a large ecosystem like airports. From your perspective at CNH Industrials, could you also state some of the, maybe internal or external cross-industry collaborations, which are very strategic to their AI adoptions?
Of course. Thank you, Rajni. Very interesting discussions, and I was listening to all the esteemed panelists, and I echo the same. Just to give a background, I come from CNH, CNH Industrial. We are agriculture and construction equipment manufacturers. When I say agriculture equipment, so the basic ones: tractors, balers, combines, harvesters. When I talk about construction equipments, backhoe loaders, excavators, all the bigger machines that you see on the roads when the construction is happening, especially on the Indian roads, you'll find all these machines around there. We call ourselves the smart iron companies. We are not just the iron companies, we are the smart iron company. I said the name itself talks about that. How much are we inclined towards technology and AI? Vehicles across the globe are getting smarter. I mean, as basic as voice assistants. You enter your car and you have voice assistants now. It's a basic one. But for us, where every machine, the productivity and efficiency is the key factor, this AI adoption becomes very, very important. And therefore, as an open innovator, we are collaborating with the startups across. I'm happy to tell that even with the association with NASSCOM, we have some startups who we are partnering with, especially in AI. But we're also moving out, because you see, like I said, we are an agtech company. We are helping farmers across the globe, to get more yield, to have easier and efficient way of, harvesting and things like that. If we want to do that, we have to bring in technology. I mean, only the machine and the man. I think there was a period when there was an industrial revolution. I think this is the time of the AI revolution, and we can see it in every form, be it healthcare to finance, be it transportation to entertainment. AI is going to be everywhere. And I think it's very, very important for every organization, to adopt this one, because or you are going to be left behind. That's what the industry is moving forward. So to your question, Rajni, like I said, we already partnering with. We are trying to develop an ecosystem. First thing first, these technologies, these AI, can we develop it all in house? Yes, we can. But do we want to do that? Maybe not, because with the startups, with other partners, we get the agility, we get various other benefits. So we want to collaborate, and especially in this forum, I could say our Indian startups. I think they've got the zeal, and every now and then we have these interactions with these startups. They come up with really unique and amazing ideas, and we want to partner with them. I think I see as an industry, I can vouch for it that this is a mutual benefit for both the startups and for the industry like us. So yes, across various domains, be it drones, be it AI, be it productive, and so many things. We are partnering with startups, and not only with startups, we are also trying to partner with institutes, various renowned institutes in India and outside India, where we can come up with some research as well. So we're trying to develop a complete ecosystem where we partner and engage together and benefit together.
Thank you, Piyush. That are quite encouraging words for the startup and ecosystem supporters. We'll move on to the question of how do you select an AI project? Some of the parameters that you consider by selecting, and what are some of the challenges when you're moving forward on some of the collaborative AI projects within the teams? What are those challenges, and some of the strategies that you use to tackle them? And let's start with perhaps Dr. Amit, if you want to take this.
Yeah, so in terms of selection, what we believe that AI has just started, right? So I am not limiting myself to like any kind of tool or technique would be very specific to my domain. Yeah, for example, in consumer brands. So what we believe is that we can learn from any other domains also. Like for example, Piyush talked about the construction and other kind of stuff. So why not we leverage what they are doing in terms of, because the challenge remains the same, right? So challenge is you want to solve the hidden equations, right? So maybe if it is not any domain specific tool, we could learn from others, startups or universities and all. And one of the key strategic point remains always that, okay, what are the problems we are trying to solve? Yeah. So we also, from our side, we invest on such kind of, like, research and development, right? So we are trying to learn from others, startups or universities and all. And one of the key strategic point remains always that, okay, what are the problems we are trying to solve? Yeah. So we also, from our side, we invest on such kind of, like, research and development, right? So we are trying to learn from others, startups or universities and all. And one of the key strategic point remains always that, okay, what are the problems we are trying to solve? Yeah. So startups wherein the problem is already identified, and it is not a fixed problem because sometimes the questions arises from a minute experimentation wherein there is a lot of complexity. For example, if you talk about green concepts, yeah, green technologies like natural extracts, which are coming from any plant like tulsi or neem. And when you take that decoction or an extract, there are many molecules present in that. And that is the beauty of, traditional system of medicine, for example. But how do we ensure that we have a proper selection of ingredients or the association of molecules in that in the extract, and which of the molecules are really responsible for having not only the efficacy but also contributing to the safety of that kind of natural product. Yeah, so that becomes very important, and then the strategy changes. Yeah, so we would like to see, okay, what is drug discovery pharma doing there? Yeah, how can I learn from them and leverage those kind of adoption or AI kind of tools to our industry? So we need to be broad in these kind of things, and the mindset should be open. Then only I think we could move forward at a pace which we would like to move.
Great perspective, Dr. Amit. Deepika, I would want to also learn from you, how do organizations and leaders in organization, from a Gen AI perspective, you may have hundreds of use cases, right? So what are those top 3, 4 parameters which help you choose on what projects to work? And while you move forward with these projects, what are the challenges and how do you handle them?
Sure. So for us, AI, be it generative AI or the traditional AI, is a technology enabler for the macro trends which are our focus today at Honeywell, be it automation, sustainability, or aviation. Right? Of course, there are challenges, and there are these common challenges with respect to data and technology, AI technology adoption, I would say. And this is more or less the same across all sectors. I'm sure all the other panelists here also would agree with me on that. And one of them is data quality, right? So there is so much data everywhere, big data. That's the era that we live in. But the way data is harnessed, stored, it's not standardized, right? And this is a common problem for all industries. And there are solution providers which focus on just the quality of data. And there are others which focus on effective testing, validation of AI models, on ML ops or AI ops, as we call it today. So yeah, these are the solutions which every organization adopting AI would need. So one way we look at it as Honeywell is to partner with these solution providers because these transcend boundaries in terms of sector, region, etc. And we have tie-ups with such solution for specific data-related solutions, right? So for us, it is very important to marry the data and the domain because it needs to ultimately make sense to our customers, and all our data is very domain specific. So this brings in the ability for us to scale faster and maintain the AI solutions post deployment also effectively with minimal human intervention.
Very important factor you brought up, Deepika, which is data. Yes, I would also request all the audience to keep sharing their questions on the chat, and we will take it towards the end. Moving on, I will ask Arun ji to also share some of the successful implementations, or how do you really sustain innovation when there are so many stakeholders and you have an AI project in hand, which needs everybody to come together, not just the data pieces, but the human pieces need to come together. So if you could reflect on some of the successful implementation strategies there.
Yeah, to start with, I agree with Deepika that, the foundation layer of the data that needs to be taken care, but that's the technical part. But if you look from a holistic perspective, what is the problem we are trying to solve, and is it is it a point solution we are trying to build, to just to test something, or is it a holistic approach to solve a larger problem? That becomes very important for us. Taking my earlier cue where I discussed, for example, it could be as simple as a computer vision, which was there from years, right? We have CCTV from I don't know, 30, 40 years or whatever it is, right? Now, how this AI is going to change that, right? It could be for multiple reasons. So what we do is, along with the concerned stakeholders, it could be a larger stakeholder, it could be one department, it could be cross-function department. If I take an example of an airport, it could be security, it could be operations, it could be baggage operation. There could be multiple agencies who are involved. Identify that kind of business cases which is going to affect a larger, functions of them, or cross-function use cases, and then define the success criteria along with the business users and the partners. That is very important for us, because at this stage, we are piloting or, doing a prototype of, mini solution. So defining the success criteria along with the business and the partner becomes very important, because this is, emerging area. There could be a lot of, new things we would also learn on the journey. Hence, defining this becomes very important for us. So we define it very clearly, saying that, what would be the success criteria of this particular pilot or POC exercise that we are going to do, and then we work on that. So one such thing, we are currently we are, contemplating to work on is, a help desk kind of solution. With the growth in the airport, the traffic, etc. There will be a lot of changes that keeps happening in an airport. There'll be new retailers coming, new shops coming, shops getting changed, location getting changed, new terminal gets added. So there'll be up to number of, questions that comes to our help desk, right? So we are trying to build a system wherein, this can be handled effectively by an AI, which can talk to multiple, data sets across the organization. It could be commercial, it could be operations, it could be security systems, it could be operational database, multiple systems, and then give an answer in a more human way, right? Though the what is working, or, AI is working in the background, understand the sentiment of the, questions being asked, etc., etc., and then respond in a more human way. This is what we are trying out right now. We are working with multiple agencies to see, how we can prototype this particular solution.
Absolutely. So success criteria, and Piyush, do you also resonate with that from perspective of CNH Industries? Because it would be different from, CPG and large industries where there's lot of competition. But I guess in your case, your products may not have too much competition. So does a complacency come into play, or do you also look at some of the parameters that mentioned by the panelists, or such as success criteria?
I think competition is something which is common across any industry, any product or any industry. So that's bound to happen. What scale, which area, I think those difference. So competition is obviously a driving force, I think, for all of us. But I definitely echo with everybody here. The question is, how do we even decide or which directions to take? I think generally it is twofold. One is our internal requirements which come up. We want to work on some project. This is the dire need. This is aligned to the goals that we currently have. Or we also see the trends, 5 year down the line, 10 year down the line. Is there something that's going to be which we want to prepare from today itself? So both internal and external factor come into play when we want to look outside and we want to take up some innovation direction. Also, like you said, then obviously all those factors comes into play. How much effort? What is the impact? What is the business case? Does it derive? So obviously you've got 10 options. Which ones do you want to? Which one you want to pick up? So all these factors come into play. Which is going to give you a major impact, because obviously you are putting your efforts, cost, resources, everything. So you need to boil down. You need to chart it out. Which ones you want to pick up first? And like I said, all these factors will come into play. And we have been also doing the same. But the good thing with innovation is it is not one fit all. And secondly, it is not one at 100 time. You like Arun mentioned, you first go for a prototype, you then do a POC, and then you gradually move forward. With each step you build your own confidence. You're moving in the right direction, and you want to take. You want to take further steps on those ones. So those are always there.
Just to quote examples, I mean, we have been also trying and experimenting with several new tech or new products, new innovations that we are trying to do in various fields. One of the interesting thing is that we're trying to give it to our customers is the real-time, round-the-clock support. You know, you are working with a machine, and machine could break down at any given point in time. So these are huge machines. You know, you cannot just you call upon somebody or walk to somebody and get those fixed. Can we have some basic support provided? Just an app. You know, just a yeah, guided help to these people. Can that be done? Uh, this could be a smaller project, but just imagine the amount of impact it will do to the end customer. You know, in the mid of the day or mid of the night, because these machines sometimes work around the clock. How much impact does this simple innovation could provide? So those are the direction we want to we are working. Another thing is, which is prior or precursor of it, we want to do some productive breakdown of it. You know, we can send an alarm to our customer telling that, see, look, your machine is under stress, and you know, next half an hour, 1 hour, you can have a fault to it. Just imagine how much we can minimize the productivity loss that could happen, and how much customer experience we can enhance with these simple innovations. So we're working all the round on this one, some internal, some which we are partnering through. Obviously, exciting times ahead. Let's see what's there in the lap of the future.
Right. And the sense I get from all of you is, the customer feedback and the final customer adoption and providing support and doing so is a critical thing. For a collaborative AI project? If so, when I say internal within the teams or organization, and how do you tackle, if anybody wants to take it, just for a quick insight on that.
Rajni, we missed you for some time. If you can please repeat the question.
Okay, I'm sorry. So we got the sense of the external customer perspective and adoption from customer end, which is very critical. But I guess a little internal sense of, how organizations also face challenge in collaborative AI projects. If somebody wants to take that part and quick insight on that. Deepika, do you want to take this?
Sure. I think, like I touched upon, the challenges, be it internal or external, it starts at the data layer itself. It's different formats of data, different tech stacks. So this is true for us even within Honeywell as an organization, because Honeywell is a large organization with so many different business units, right? So the lack of standardization when it comes to ETL and the different tech stacks that are used for data storage, all these lead to roadblocks during integration. So one way we overcome this is by having those open architecture models, right? So extensive usage of APIs, modular architectural models, like having Lego blocks, if we can imagine, right? So that way, plug and play becomes easier when solutions are built, keeping in mind a modular platform like our architecture, which is also quite futuristic, right? So in future, that will help wider adoption. So also it is important to pick the right partners whose solutions complement those that are readily available in-house. So at Honeywell, we have central bodies, centers of excellence, communities of practice for various themes, including one for AI, which kind of helps foster the reuse of solutions across the business units of Honeywell. And this also serves as a platform for like-minded people to come together, share their experiences, best practices, and also reuse their infrastructure. So today with generative AI adoption, infrastructure is a big deal, right? So this also helps expand the internal talent pool within the organization. So when, as an example, last year when generative AI was the buzzword, this body, the community of practice for AI, played a significant role in accelerating the generative AI adoption for us simply by reuse, hackathons, bringing in various business units together to do these, etc. Yeah. So these are some of these best practices that we adopt for accelerating the technology adoption through collaboration.
That's a great
So,
idea, Deepika. I think
if I
Dr.
may,
Amit, you want to add something?
yeah, if I may add from the consumer brand's perspective, yeah, so it's a latest and emerging technology, AI. Yeah, so how do we ensure that, okay, this is, favorite subject to everyone or all the categories of consumers? Yeah, this is the biggest question. Yeah, and if you see from the consumer perspective, CPG perspective, the consumers are quite diverse. In terms of learning nature, you have, the gap is too much. So 60-year-old is there, and then 20 years young also is a consumer. For example, in beauty, for example. Yeah. So the best practices which we adopt is kind of involvement of the maximum consumers. So we have our consumer centers wherein we call different age group of consumers. We do all the consumer testings. And at the same time, we just try to tune them that this is what is going to come in the future. Yeah, what do you think about this? We get very good, very interesting insights also from there, whether it is a device or a tool or any kind of protocols which we develop for a consumer application. So I would say that involvement from the beginning is very important rather than developing something and throwing to consumers. Then consumers are like, some of them are adapting and then others are saying that, okay, what is this? How do I use this? Yeah. So that's what is my perspective about this.
Yep. I think
Thank you, Dr.
yeah, that's single narrative which probably we'll all agree. Customers are such a driving force for all the innovation activities that we do. And it's such an important thing that Amit mentioned, that you cannot have something sitting inside the walls of your room and just present it to your customers and you feel like everybody's going to adopt it. They have to be part of the journey and right from the very start. Do we every time reach out to them for a solution? Maybe not, because they could be asking or may not have that visibility, but we definitely reach out to them for the problems that they are facing, which becomes a guiding force for us. What kind of solution do we want to them? And because at the end of the day, be it technology, be it AI or anything else, we want to minimize the efforts for the customers, and we want to enhance the the results for them. So that's the key driving force. I think that's a key driving force for all of us probably.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Piyush. Arunji, you wanted to share something? I
Rajni,
saw you
yeah,
unmuted.
Just to add on, since we are talking about internal challenges for the adoption, right? For us, one of the things, which is very critical is, who owns this data, right? So, and I think there was also a question on the chat about, and which has also got answered by Deepika. So that becomes very important for us to see that, who is owning this data and, how much, accountability we have on this. Say, for example, whether passenger data is owned by an airport or an airline. I'm just giving an example, right? So it becomes quite important for us to understand, what is that, problem or, challenge we are trying to attack, and what is this data is all about, and how do we have a governance for this becomes very important for. So anything we do on the AI, that becomes an integral part, and that also becomes a kind of challenge at times to decide how do we have to handle it. Is it only us, or we need to include the larger ecosystems to take this further? That becomes an important factor for us.
Right. And coming to that, I would a quick view from everybody. What are some of the ethical considerations or responsible AI frameworks and practices that you're using, which are necessary for fostering the collaborations that we spoke about earlier, without compromising on, privacy and security and also fairness to say, right? So anyone can start. I think Arunji just shared his thought on that.
Yeah, so
Piyush, you want to take this? Yeah, Deepika, yes.
Yeah, so today is all about generative AI, and generative AI is also a great example of strategic collaboration in AI, I would say. Right? So for us as Honeywell, being on Azure cloud, So it was fairly straightforward to get our own private instance of OpenAI GPT models and develop solutions using them. So today we have customized GenAI solutions for our domain-specific use cases. Right? So all security and legal considerations have been taken care of when it comes to preventing data leakage, making sure that the data doesn't get mixed with the public data that is available, which the models can be trained on. So suitable prompts, for instances, which are out of scope for that specific domain. Right? So, but yeah, generative AI is not only about general purpose OpenAI models. So we also leverage the open source models, which can be deployed on premise, which are more lightweight. That brings in an additional layer of security for the data. Right? So since it is going to be within the firewall. And for specific regulated markets like Europe, so there are region-specific laws like the EU AI Act, which ensure due diligence is done in terms of fairness of both data and the models, accuracy of responses, relevance of responses, and also the data usage is done responsibly. Right? So these kind of guardrails help in increasing the trust in AI, which automatically would lead to wider adoption.
Very critical part, yes. Piyush, from your perspective and from CNH perspective, what AI best practices are you following when it comes to data?
Yeah, I think this is such an important question and such an important discussion because AI is evolving, and all the panels mentioned that, data is the core and important thing. But along with the data comes a lot of responsibility and, unethical practices. So at CNHI, we are very, very concerned about this, and we take this with the utmost responsibility that the data that we have. So we follow some of the procedures. For example, access control. We ensure that the access to the data is limited to the authorized individuals. That's very important that we follow. Secondly, data minimization, which means we try and hold only the data which is important, not just any data that is coming our way. So that's another thing that we do. Data anonymization, which means wherever possible, we want to hide the key, details that that should not be there available for regular people or unauthorized, access. And finally, encryption. That's another thing that we. So these 4 pillars we try and follow every time, so that there is the right utilization and storage of the data at any given point in time, and which is very, very important. Every time people here over the call, you'll always see there is deepfake and whatnot is being there. This AI being very, very powerful tool, and at the same time it can be dangerous at any time. I think the only thing what we need to do is to be very, very be curious about, need to safeguard this data, its utilization and its access, and that's what we at CNHI are following that.
Right. Dr. Amit, with the existing guardrails and all the perhaps the framework that we discussed, what's your perspective in terms of, what are the new areas of these responsible AI that you're exploring in-house?
Yeah, so from our perspective, basically, it is the innovation and the sustainability aspect which we are trying to really embark on. Yeah, and as I shared before, that the instrumentation part is very important, of very importance to us, and it helps us to also understand consumer insights. Yeah, so the AI adoption helps us to be very clear on what are the expectations of consumers and the brands which we are going to launch in the future. Yeah.
Right, thank you. And so many questions coming in from audience. I guess we'll quickly wrap up with a final comment from each one of you on, where do you see next 5-10 years down the line? What would be the adoption scenario and the biggest challenge at that point? Starting with Deepika.
Sure. So I think given that we are living in the generative AI era, and every organization, I'm sure, by now has figured out the value this technology brings for them. So since generative AI models mostly use deep learning transformer model architecture, so the infrastructure requirements for training and even fine-tuning these models is huge, right? So is the energy consumption that comes along with this, and sustainability now being the key theme across the globe. Sustainable AI models, including SLMs or small language models, which are more lightweight and do not have massive data requirements for training, are set to take off. And of course, responsible ethical practices around data and AI, including the interpretability aspect and human in the loop approaches, are bound to stay. This is not new, but with generative AI coming in, this is only going to get more and more prominent. Right? So, for instance, we now use co-pilots for code generation, but this would still need oversight from the developer to accept, modify, or even reject the code if it's not relevant, right? So yes, we live in the age of hyper automation, and AI is a tool for achieving hyper automation, but it's not a complete replacement of human intelligence, at least as on today.
Thanks. That's critical factor, Deepika. And Piyush, what would you say? Adoption of AI 10 years down the line, data being big factor, data centers and sustainability coming into factor of usage of AI. What do you say 10 years down the line?
Well, I'm very optimistic about the utilization of AI. And Deepika just touched upon a very important thing, that it is not going to replace humans. That's something we want to keep aside, not at least for next 50 or 100 odd years. Because see, what it is going to be like, which I see next 10 years, humans and machines working together, wherein the repetitive work and non-creative works may go down, and where humans would be more doing the strategic and more creative work, which is the better utilization of the human capital. That's where I see. She mentioned co-pilot, Deepika mentioned, which is important. Still today they can write code, but you sit back and see it is right or wrong, and you focus your energy at places where the human mind can do things better rather than a repetitive work, which machine can do. So I think there will be a synergy. This is some initial jerk where people are a little anxious and things like that. I think down the line, 2 years down the line, it'll just settle down. I remember the days when computers came in. And there was so much of noise around it. And sometime back, I was reading that when calculators came in, there was also. So I think anything new happening there, it is tend to generate some reactions or emotions like this. But I think once it settles down in a year or so, I think we humans will start to learn how these machines and we coexist, co-work together with our own boundaries. And it is only going to create more space for us to do more creative work. At the same time, it is going to generate more productivity, more efficiency for all of us. So I am very optimistic and positive about it. I think beyond other things, one of the macro factor that I would like to talk about, I think this is an opportunity for India, especially. I'm sitting and talking about India. Probably in a global forum, I would have talked about something else. But this is, I think, is an opportunity for the Indian talent to develop this talent in another few years, and just be a global master for this. We did good when the computers were there, but I think this is the time we can really lead these things. The world needs good AI talent. Obviously, there will be some industry war as well to attract good talent, but I think we can be managing the global AI, supporting it from India. So that's an opportunity from the India point, going beyond the industry. That's another thing that I see.
Absolutely. Arunji, your perspectives on what could be the trends between 5 to 10 years from now?
I think personally, I feel 10 years is quite a long period. I think within 5 years, we are bound to see huge differences, because this is something, which is affecting multiple facets of not only industries, even the personal life also, right? So we see that, impact on multiple areas. It could be right from, a school kid writing his essays to, whatnot in different industries. Like, we talked about R&D or manufacturing industry, service, whatever it is, right? So I think the it's only going to add more and more value to businesses and individuals. And I'm very optimistic. In 5 years we are going to see, even 5 years for that matter. I think it looks a bit longer for me. It's the changes are happening very rapidly. So I think one of the critical factor that's going to work is of course the legislations also have to keep at pace with the same thing which is happening like EU. Governance becomes very, very important. That becomes a very, while technology limitations would be overcoming by the advancement over the period, but the governance becomes very important for all the industries with a kind of bad actors can misuse it. The potential misuse possibilities are so high and the impact is also so high. I think governance becomes very, very important going forward. That's my view.
Thank you. Dr. Amit, you want to conclude it with your thoughts?
Yeah, so I am also very optimistic about the AI revolution which we are going to see, because I come from an age group where we used to read some comics in our childhoods, like Chacha Chaudhary and Chacha Bhatija, right? And there was in Chacha Chaudhary there was a comment always that the Chacha Chaudhary ka dimag computer se bhi tej chal raha hai. So what does this mean? That the mind of Chacha Chaudhary was faster than the computer. So we are witnessing that era. Yeah, so computers were born, yes, but still it was not much. But now with this AI adoption, I think it is going to revolutionize the industry. And 3 or 5 years, yes, it will take time, but we are seeing it tomorrow. The changes are happening. And one of the important aspects which I would like to mention is I wish that AI could help us really cure the alarming diseases which we are facing. And that too, it could be a boon for patients. So one P, and the second P is the planet. Yeah, so the planet is burning as we witness the climate change and all. So I would like to more focus the AI adoption happening in these kind of sectors, wherein the humanity, which is at risk for the moment, there could be some good news for us, for our generations. Yeah.
Thank you. That kind of closes the holistically the perspectives on
Rajni, sorry, we lost you for a moment.
I guess we have it all mentioned as I have
Raj-
is ready to the GPU.
Rajni, I believe there's some disturbance at your end. If you can repeat quickly. All right. So it was an extremely well-placed panel. We are on time with so much insights, and Chacha Chaudhary's level of wisdom was shared, right? And the best part about the panel discussion was all our panelists were in sync with the AI adoption is a need of the hour. And like Piyush said, it is not like the corporates and the enterprises cannot build or develop these AI technologies, but they prefer outsourcing it from some of the startups or some of the newer technologies, right? Because of the more flexibility and agility that they provide. We're a perfectly well placed panel. Thank you so much. And the success of the panel discussion is analyzed or decided from the kind of questions you get. And as you can see, our chat box is almost filled with lots of innovative questions. I would request if you can take out some time to answer them in the chat box while we move to our next session. Thank you, Amit, once again. Thank you, Arun. Thank you, Deepika. Thank you, Piyush. Love your presence, and I believe you will be staying with us for the next round of session, which is the startup showcase, right? So I would say fasten your seatbelt, everyone, and we are taking you on an innovation ride. So this is our very own Shark Tank. We call it Startup Showcase. Shark Tank with no Ashmir Grover, right? So I'll probably invite my colleague Hanisha, the startup expert from Bangalore. Hanisha, can we have you on the screen, please?
Yes. Hi, everyone. Anisha here. Thank you,
Right,
Naman. And
right. Hanisha, go on, go on. Yes, please, go on.
sure. So let me start off with a quick introduction. We know in today's fast-paced world, AI is just not a choice anymore. It's essential for us to stay ahead in the game, right? AI brings so many countless opportunities like making operations smoother, improving customer experience, and even right now predicting marketing trends, right? Think about companies like Amazon or Netflix. They make our choices or preferences and the shopping experience or viewing experience so enjoyable for all of us. That's using AI. So, but again, there's this notion that it is only used by the larger companies or the big companies, but it isn't just for the largest companies, right? It's everywhere and anyone can use it. Even starting from the small industries, factories can use them. They can use the computer vision and all of these to predict the footfall or to detect which machine is going to repair and how we can prevent those. So today we are excited to introduce to four such amazing solutions or innovators, I would say, who are using AI to create a storm, right? And so I'll get started with them. So first we have Eugenie.ai. We have Atharva from Eugenie.ai who will be presenting. Atharva, do we have you here?
And quickly, Anisha, if you can also explain the ground rules, so they will get 7. Yes, go on.
Yes. For all the innovators, you'll have 10 minutes to pitch and also answer the audience Q&A. We request you to use the first 5 to 7 minutes to go through your pitch and later use the remaining time to answer the audience Q&A. And dear viewers, attendees, please use the chat box or to raise questions to the startups. Let me quickly share the screen as well. Yes. Over to you, Atharva.
Great. Thank you, Anisha, and thank you everyone for having me here. So good evening, everyone. I'm Atharva Sabnis from Eugenie.ai. We are an operations and emissions intelligence platform that is specifically designed for asset-heavy process manufacturing companies. So we are a product company backed by Fractal Analytics, which is the Indian AI unicorn, and also by Google. Just last year, in I think November 2023, Google named us as one of the top 4 startups around the world who are doing impactful work in using AI for achieving environmental sustainability. Next slide, please. So there is currently global pressure, be it Asia, US, Europe. There is a lot of global pressure, and it is getting worse by the day on large manufacturers and otherwise polluting companies to become more environmentally responsible. Now, this environmental responsibility begins with these organizations needing to accurately measure and report their emissions instead of just using guesstimates that are based on mathematical formulae and templatized calculations. Now, this real-time measurement requirement is why large manufacturers are desperate for tools and solutions that can help them to accurately track, reduce, and report emissions, starting from accurate baselining and measurement. Next slide, please. So this is where Eugenie.ai comes in. What we have built is an AI-driven digital twin platform which tracks manufacturing organizations' emissions in real time. Our AI then traces these tracked emissions back to the specific assets and processes to identify hotspot being areas which are problematic or which are generating excess emissions and so on. After this AI is able to identify hotspots, we are able to follow up these hotspots with specific recommendations on what actions the shop floor operators can take right now to reduce any excess emissions. So the whole idea over here is that all operations will produce some level of baseline emissions if they're manufacturing. What we want to avoid is we want to avoid your baseline from becoming excess. So whatever is the basic or the least level of emissions, that is all you should produce and nothing more than that. The advantage of our approach over here is that we are tracking and tracing emissions by actually detecting anomalies and assets and processes in real time. And we also predict future anomalies before they happen itself so that we can tell you when your emissions might go out of sync. This prediction ability means that Eugenie also doubles up as an emissions intelligence plus a predictive maintenance solution. So we also help our customers to reduce asset uptimes, extend the remaining useful life of their assets, lower their maintenance costs. All of this while reducing emissions, reducing production waste, and making operations more sustainable. The core thesis behind Eugenie, like I said in the beginning, is that when assets and processes are not performing optimally, they are producing excess emissions. And our job is to keep things running optimally so that emissions production remains at the minimal possible baseline. By doing this, what we are actually doing is we are doing carbon insetting. Carbon insetting is the exact opposite of carbon offsetting. We help organizations to reduce emissions at the source itself so that they don't have to spend so much on offsets later. That is our core purpose. We are a carbon insetting platform for manufacturing. Next slide, please. We are fortunate that we are currently working at the intersection of two very important industrial technologies. One is your industrial carbon management and decarbonization. Second being industrial digital twins, which is part of Industry 5.0 initiatives and so on. So we are currently working with some of the world's largest organizations in very hard to abate kind of sectors like semiconductor manufacturing, energy, oil and gas, steel production, and so on. Across these sectors, we have already outperformed industry benchmarks in terms of reduced production waste, improved asset reliability, increased operational efficiency, and we are on track to do the same for emissions reduction as well. Next slide, please. These are some examples of use cases. For example, we recently began working with a chip maker that is a supplier to Apple. For this chip maker, we are helping them predict defects on their PCB boards within a 2-second window so that they can produce PCBs with fewer defects and reduce production waste, which is the beginning of a circular economy mindset. We are also helping improve the productivity and reducing dust emissions for Tata Steel, one of India's largest steel makers. We are part of their value chain already. In Mexico, we are working with one of the largest mining companies to reduce their mining production waste by being able to predict equipment performance lapses up to 6 hours in advance. And in Brazil, we are working with Nexa Mining, which is their version of Vedanta, where they mine zinc, and we are able to predict failures in their Volvo trucks and mining equipment with about an 80% accuracy so that they can do any maintenance and repairs well ahead of time so that the mining operations don't get disrupted. And I think last but not the least, we are also working with USA's ExxonMobil, the largest oil major in the world after Aramco. With ExxonMobil, we are risk profiling close to 4,000 interconnected assets to be able to tell ExxonMobil ahead of time which of these assets are responsible for excess emissions or will not perform in a way that the emission levels will remain at their baseline. Last slide, please. In addition to having 3 patents for our data science and IEEE technical award, we have also been recognized for our innovation by Nasscom Emerge 50. We were also a winner of Nasscom AI Game Changers. We are a member of the Nasscom Deep Tech Club. And to stay in touch with us and follow what we're doing, please scan this QR code, and I'm happy to have any questions. Thank you so much.
We can have the questions on the chat box while we move to the next speaker. Thank you so much, Athar. We'll stay in touch, and any queries, we'll probably scan this QR first. Thank you. Anisha? The next presenter, please be ready.
Yes, no. Sorry. Hi. Sure. So next we have Asset AI. We have Job Philip, who's the co-founder of Asset AI with the next innovation. Can we have you started, Job? Rashmi and Job, do we have you in the presenters?
If not, we can move to the next startup then. Rashmi and Job, last call.
So Job is here, but he's
Job,
not able to. Can we make him a presenter, please?
Piyush,
Hello.
yes, Job, go on. We can hear you, Job. Yes.
Yeah. Good evening. Thank you so much. Apologies, I was not able to unmute myself or show my video. Can you start the presentation if you don't mind, Anisha, please? Or do you want me to share and start?
Sure, I'll start with it. And I think we have a video first.
Yes.
Introducing Pratom, the world's first no-code platform that puts the power of computer vision in the hands of professionals like you. With Pratom, uploading your video feeds and accessing detailed analytics is as easy as a few clicks. No coding required. Tailor your analytics to your specific business needs. Mark your area of interest with ease to count people, objects, or vehicles. Watch as Pratom transforms your video feeds into actionable data and charts, providing valuable insights at your fingertips. Join the growing community of professionals who trust Pratom for their business needs. Experience the simplicity and power of computer vision today. Pratom by ZestIoT, your gateway to unlocking the full potential of computer vision. Visit prathamlive.ai and transform your business with Pratom.
Thank you, Anisha. Can you start the presentation? Yes. Hi, everyone. So I'm Joe Philip. I'm one of the co-founders of ZestIoT. ZestIoT, simply put, we are a computer vision company, possibly the largest in India in terms of number of people as well as number of installation. Computer vision is that branch of AI where we try to mimic the human eye behavior. Anisha, next slide, please. Yeah. So our typical clientele or where we put our solution is in large businesses, primarily in warehouses, retail, or industrial setups, where you have a set of number of cameras already. So like, for example, in India, ITC, Aditya Birla, Johnson & Johnson, they are our large clients. We are present in India and in US. And in US, guys like GE, etc. are our clients. So inside their manufacturing premises, they already have a set of cameras. We integrate with those cameras. The AI solution that we run takes the feed from those cameras and tries to derive the analysis or analytics, which is what a human eye would do. So for example, in a dock area, we give them an insight on how many packets have been loaded, how many packets have been unloaded, how much time did the trucks wait. Inside the manufacturing premises, if there are any new SOP violations, we kind of understand that using the AI, our prop AI models that we use on some of these things. We have 3 patents globally on our AI models. We deploy those solutions, and on a real-time basis, we give them an insights on if there are any violations. Those kind of stuff we deploy at large B2B companies. That's our business model as of today. Next slide, please. You can click on any of the cameras. So what any of the videos that you would kind of see. Can you do that, please? It will show the computer vision in application on the video. On the top 3 videos. Can you
Sorry,
click play
Job,
on any?
these are not being able to clickable.
Okay. So fair enough. Actually, if you just a PDF. Okay. So what we do is once we understand how many cameras are there, what are the type of use cases that we want to run, and we kind of let it run while we are not actually focused on one specific use case, but we want to say within an industrial, retail, or warehousing setup, whatever is your pain area, whatever can be solved by human eye, we will solve it. So in the first video that we have embedded there, and so which is not being played, there you will see number of packets being loaded, unloaded, giving them a estimate of what is the dock productivity, how many workers are there, working on kind of loading, unloading activities. The second one, the second video feed you would see is on health and safety side. When 2 forklifts are coming very close to each other, how does a real-time alert is generated? Now, all of this happens in microseconds. So the feeds are taken on a real time because we do it on-prem edge basis. And the AI models analyzes that and relays back the information, which is used to make all those kind of real-time insights available to them. Go ahead, next one. Next slide, please. Yeah, these are our typical use cases and typical industries that we work. Warehousing and manufacturing would be about 60-65% of our revenue. We have offices in Delhi, Bombay, Bangalore, and we have 2 people working in the US as well. The use cases would be around quality, security and surveillance, facility and area management, and stuff like that, which we showed you. The video that we played in the beginning, Pratham, that is world's first no-code platform for computer vision. Like today on Gen AI, you know that you can generate a bunch of images by using text prompt, or on ChatGPT, you can put in a text and you can understand what an AI on the text can do. The prathamlive.ai, I request everyone to just try it. That is world's first platform where you can upload your videos and you can on yourself draw a boundary and stuff like that, and see how many people are going in, how many people are walking out, how many cars are moving in and out, bringing a no code revolution in the hands of people. So why do we have it? Because we have traditionally been serving very large customers, in India as well as in US, because all the customizations, etc., that we need to do are costly. But using Pratham, we want to bring computer vision in the hands of everyone. Every single company, we believe, ideally should be able to run a computer vision, and that is when they will see the power of AI, or at least on the vision side, and that would be something which would create the utopia which panelists were talking about. Thank you so much.
Great, thanks, Job. Do we have any questions? Please do post them in the chat. We'll try to take them. If not, Job and his team members are there to answer your questions on the chat as well.
Thank you so much.
Great. So in that case, we'll move on to the next page. We have VitraAI as the next AI innovator. We have Satvik, the founder of VitraAI. Satvik, can we have you here? Hi, Satvik. Sorry, we are not able to hear you.
Satvik, looks like there's some audio issue at your end. Can't hear you.
We request you to log out and log in back once again, or switch to another audio devices.
All right, Satvik, you may. No, we can't hear you. We can't hear you still. So you may try logging in again while we. So let's. Right. In the interest of time, we'll move to the another speaker, ZestIoT, Anisha, and then Satvik can join later.
Yes.
Your story का thought अब मैं.
So we have ZestIoT. We have Alkesh from ZestIoT who will be walking us through their innovation. Welcome, Alkesh. Over to you.
Alkesh, you are on mute.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Sorry, my name is Alkesh. I'm representing ZestIoT. We are basically based out of Hyderabad. We are a company which started in 2016, and with the vision to connect places, people, assets, and operations using camera, IoT, AI, edge compute, cloud compute, and very such latest technologies. Can you move to the next slide? We are working with multiple sectors. We started with aviation back in 2016. From there, now we are working with manufacturing sectors like steel, oil and gas, F&B, FMCG companies, where we have a mission to solve the customer problems which falls under productivity improvement, safety, security, SOP monitoring, quality inspection, and so on. And with that, I would like to take you to one of our product, which is meant for the conveyor belts in steel manufacturing plants as well as metal mining and other cement industries. A quick background about who we work with, what are the technologies we are using. Maybe you can switch to the next slide. So as a company, we have office in Hyderabad. We also have footprints in Europe, in Middle East, since we are working with aviation. But for non-aviation, we are already working with a lot of customers from steel, oil and gas, the JSWs, the sales, the oil and gas companies like HPCL, BPCL, IOCL, and so on. And we have been invested last year through Series A funding from the investors, and we also have a varied lead of partners with whom we are getting immense support and with whom we are able to design the product, which now we have deployed at multiple places in India and abroad. We have received multiple industry awards and recognitions. We are a part of NASSCOM Deep Tech, and also have last year won one of the Innovation Challenge from NASSCOM CoE IIT Gandhinagar for Marico Innovation Challenge. From there, I would like to tell you about our product, which is called as Predicton. If you can move to the next slide, Anisha. So this is a product designed especially for conveyor belts, critical conveyor belts in metal mining, cement industries.
Hello. We are ZestIoT.
Yeah, so maybe we'll just see the video first, which is about 2.5 minutes. Yeah, you can go ahead and play.
And we have 3 important questions to ask you. Does your operation have a dependency on critical conveyor systems? How do you monitor its health? And how do you avoid sudden breakdowns? Due to constant wear and tear, unplanned downtime impacts productivity, resulting in significant losses, sometimes amounting to millions of dollars. With slow labor-intensive maintenance protocols, it's harder to accurately analyze the health of the complete system. And that's where Predicton steps in. Predicton is an AI-enabled conveyor belt health monitoring and inspection system. It helps detect critical damages, mitigate downtime, and increase efficiency. Predicton comprises of industrial cameras, lighting, our unique inspection setup, and our tested and matured AI modules. It monitors and provides real-time alerts and actionable insights, making room for immediate measures and planned maintenance that can extend the life cycle of the belt and avoid sudden breakdowns. The machine vision cameras and high-intensity LEDs are housed within an IP67 enclosure, which is 100% dust and waterproof and can withstand harsh environments. The enclosure is installed on a 180-degree swivel, making it easy to install and maintain with minimum interruption to the operation. Connected to our AI engine housed in the local network, Predicton identifies cuts and damages, foreign objects, material and belt spillage. It also detects belt sway and misalignment and identifies large objects on the belt, avoiding obstruction. Predicton categorizes anomalies based on their criticality with 99.98% plus accuracy, with customizable workflows for each category. Thanks to PLC integration, it also implements an auto-stoppage protocol on detecting critical damage. Next, the laser module here acts as an added second line of defense. It alerts any undetected damage by identifying spillage from through-cuts. Users can access all alerts, analytics, and insights through our interactive web app. The app can easily be accessed through compatible browsers in devices that are connected to the network. Predicton enables upgrades with different use case scenarios, making it a scalable solution. Other add-on modules include belt thickness detection, smoke and fire detection, safety compliance monitoring integrated with available CCTV networks. Predicton is deployed at multiple locations with more than 60,000 hours of operational footage collected so far and more than 1.3 billion frames scanned at 99.98% plus accuracy. With its features, our customers can avoid sudden breakdowns and extend belt life. Predicton, powered by ZestIoT, connecting people, places, assets, and operations.
So as you can see, it was a self-explanatory video about the Predicton. This is a product which we developed 3 years back and now been installed at multiple places in India, multiple steel industries, steel companies in India, and we are delivering more than 15 such use cases for monitoring this conveyor belt and give them the health card of the conveyor belt, which helps them to determine whether they require the maintenance of the conveyor belts or not. Similarly, we have close to 120 such use cases for monitoring operations for safety, security, quality inspections, and so on. We can do that using integrating with the existing camera network or deploying additional cameras as and when required and certain sensors. And we have a very strong platform which can go on top of, like I said, any type of camera network and give you real-time insights and feeds of the operations, give you the visibility of the operations. And we have the track record of identifying any such anomalies within 200 milliseconds and release those alerts to you with the images and small video clips, and also do PLC integration whenever critically required to be integrated. So this is about our product Predicton and our platform. Happy to take any questions from anyone. Maybe you can move to the next slide, Anisha. Yeah, anyone, if they have any queries, you may please put it on the chat. Thank you.
Right, okay. You may answer them in the chat.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Alkesh. Great, we have the last innovator for us waiting with VitraAI. We'll get back to them. Satvik, are we ready?
Hello. Yeah.
Yes, we can hear you. Just give me a second. Yes, here you go.
Hello all. I'm Satvik, co-founder and CEO at VitraAI. At VitraAI, we translate videos, images, and websites to 75 plus languages with just one click. Right. Next slide, please. So we're funded by 100x VC and Inflexar VC. We're a part of some of the largest accelerators in India and the world, like Google Accelerator, Flipkart Leap, Target Accelerator, ML Elevate, GeoGen Next. Your Story chooses as top 30 tech startups of India, Accenture Ventures, Goa Fire, and a lot more. Right. Our technology is patented and patent granted. We featured in some of the largest journals in India and the world, like Forbes, Times, INC 42, Your Story, etc. Right. Next slide. One of the fundamental problems that branding, marketing, and content teams face is they fail to reach more and more people, right? Because language is the biggest barrier, right? And one of the thing is everyone creates content in a single language like English, and their reach to people, let's say if it's India or even the world, is extremely limited because only 15% of the people in the world speak English. And this creates reduced engagement and overall inefficient marketing campaigns and brand messaging that goes out. Next slide. And that's why we've built products focused around translating all the rich content media formats like videos, images, and website, where you can dub a video, add captions and subtitle with also cloning of voices, right? You can translate rich images in Photoshop and Illustrator, Figma and Canva for your designs as well. You can translate your whole website in a no-code solution. The whole translation is on the fly. We also have translation memory technology. With this, your communication and your translation is consistent in all languages. And unlike typical text translation systems that these rich content media format translation help modern content teams to reach global audience with just one click. Next slide. The whole process of translation using VitraAI is 100 times faster than any other manual process in the world. And this makes it an obvious choice for enterprises and customers in India and globe to adopt Vitra, right? Next slide. We work with enterprises, right? Primarily in the segments of BFSI, FMCG, e-commerce, retail, media, etc. Right? We solve for a lot of use cases. One of the most obvious is in translating their um, media content, right? Like marketing content. So one of the first focus point is marketing and branding teams, right? We work with OTTs like Star and Viacom, right? Like media companies like Star and Viacom for translating some of their TV serials episodes. Very recently, we've also done a movie dubbing, which is going soon live on Amazon Prime, right? So these are some of the use cases that we work with. Obviously, on a detailed level, we work with a lot of other use cases, including video personalization, audio personalization, which is your phone call personalization, etc. Again, not just personalization, it's translation and personalization very specifically to that user in that geography, thereby increasing conversion rates and engagement rates from ranging from 30 to 60%, right, respectively. And with that, we've been able to deliver constant value to enterprises like HDFC, ICICI, ITC, Flipkart, Swiggy, Target in the US, Reliance, and a lot more. Next slide. This is a demo where we would show you video, image, and website translation, how the whole technology works, and the outcome of the AI. Please play this video.
योर स्टोरी का थॉट अब मैं अभी बैठ के 2023 के जनवरी में अगर कहूँ, it started in 2008. I started in Mumbai, but if I have to tell the story now, I am from Bihar. எனவே நாங்கள் பீகாரில் பிறந்து வளர்ந்த போது நான் இதை நிறைய முறை சொல்லியிருக்கிறேன். என் பெயர் ஸ்ரத்தா என்று நாம் சொல்லவில்லை. Nosotros decimos nuestro nombre es Shraddha y venimos y vamos. Así es como nos han educado.
That's all I have. Thank you so much. Any questions? I mean, please do ask or drop in the comments. Right, I would be happy to answer. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, Satvik. That was a great pitch. And with this, we are done with the pitches for this session. Thank you for listening to us. And over to you, Naman, again.
Well,
And if
thank
you
you,
have
Anisha. Thank you,
any questions,
Satvik. Right. Well, there you have it. What a power-packed evening we just had, right? First panel discussion and then innovation showcase, right? So, Matt Millenberg, the CEO of WordPress, once said, technology is best when it brings people together. And through platforms like Open Innovator, the idea is to, bring emerging tech into one platform. So for the corporate friend of ours, you name a use case and we have a solution for you, right? And once again, thank you so much for being a sport, and we request you all to, be a part of a thriving community. We are planning to do more such sessions frequently. The next one is planned for March. We request you to be part of all our upcoming session, join our community, join our LinkedIn page. I would request Piyush to, share the email ID wherein our corporate friends can reach out and our startups can reach out to us. So wonderful session. You may reach out to all the panelists and all the startups founders on LinkedIn, to us on LinkedIn. And that's all for now. Thank you so much. Have a great evening. Thank you, everyone.